Men everywhere are waking up, not slowly, not quietly, but all at once. Something shifted. Something snapped. It's like a veil finally pulled back, and now every man, no matter his age, culture, or background, is noticing the same patterns. The same contradictions. The same emotional traps dressed up as modern dating. They're not becoming bitter. They're becoming aware. They're stepping out of the fog they didn't even know they were living in. And once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. That's the part nobody prepared them for. It starts with a simple moment. A moment where a man hears something a woman says, and for the first time, it doesn't match what she does. He pauses. He observes. He remembers. Then he looks around and realizes he's not the only one noticing this. Every man he talks to has a story. Every man online has a clip. Every man in private has a confession. They're comparing notes and the notes match. Men are seeing standards that feel like demands, not partnership. They're seeing expectations that rise endlessly while their own needs get dismissed without hesitation. They're seeing a dating culture where men are told to give, provide, protect, support, but are mocked the moment they ask for the same in return. And it hits them. This isn't how relationships were meant to work. This isn't mutual. This isn't love. It's performance. It's extraction. It's entitlement wrapped in empowerment slogans. Men notice the contradictions first. The woman who insists she's independent but wants him to fund her lifestyle. The one who preaches loyalty but keeps a lineup of backup options ready. The one who demands emotional safety but emotionally terrorizes her partner on bad days. Men notice how often the words don't match the actions. How often accountability melts the moment it's needed. How often apologies get replaced by excuses, blame, and victim narratives. It's not hate that rises in men during this awakening. Shock. Then clarity. Then calm. And that calm is dangerous for the people benefiting from male ignorance. Because once a man becomes calm about what he sees, he stops chasing. He stops negotiating. He stops trying to prove himself to someone who never planned on reciprocating. He stops allowing himself to be manipulated by guilt, shame, or fear of losing her. He simply steps back and watches. And what he sees confirms everything. Men are watching how some women treat relationships like stepping stones instead of commitments. They're seeing how some use men for attention, resources, validation, or emotional labor while giving nothing real in return. They're seeing how blame always points outward but never inward. They're seeing how victimhood is weaponized, how narratives are twisted, how accountability is avoided at Olympic levels. And the craziest part? These behaviors aren't isolated. They're widespread. They're normalized. They're repeated word for word in different cities by people who don't know each other. That's when men understand, this isn't personal. It's cultural. It's systemic. It's patterned. And patterns, once recognized, lose their power. Suddenly men feel something they haven't felt in years. Freedom. Not freedom from women, but freedom from illusions. Freedom from manipulation. Freedom from false expectations. Freedom from chasing validation that was never real. They stop accepting disrespect because they can finally see it clearly. They stop tolerating emotional double standards because they now recognize them. They stop participating in relationships where reciprocity is optional. Men everywhere are waking up to the simple truth that peace is more valuable than partnership with someone who treats them like the enemy. They're choosing their mental health over forced hero roles. They're choosing their dignity over begging for basic appreciation. They're choosing solitude over suffering. And for the first time, they're doing this without guilt. The awakening isn't loud. It isn't violent. It isn't hateful. It's quiet clarity. A man sits in his room, scrolling, reading, watching, reflecting, and he realizes, I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. Other men see it too. This is real. And once his eyes open, they don't close again. That's why this shift is irreversible. That's why it scares people. That's why it matters. Because an awakened man is no longer controlled by lies. He lives in truth. He sees through performance. And he refuses to settle for anything less than mutual respect. This is the beginning. This is the turning point. This is the clarity men were denied for years, and now they're embracing it with both hands. Standards are fair. Hypocrisy isn't. People demand excellence until the mirror offers nothing back. Men are asked to shoulder burdens they never agreed to. Women post checklists like job ads while bringing no comparable qualifications. It feels like an auction. Expectations rise, mutual obligation drops. Men see the imbalance and they're done ignoring it. Dating inventories have become laughable. Desire is natural. Fairness isn't negotiable. She wants a higher salary while refusing steady work. She demands emotional maturity but avoids honest self-work. She requests commitment while keeping escape routes. Rules press only one direction. That asymmetry kills trust before it begins. When wants exceed reality, disappointment follows. Profiles promise ideal partners written by people who wouldn't pass their own tests. This isn't accidental hypocrisy, it's deliberate. Demand top tier while offering entry-level effort. Expect perfection while delivering scraps. Men spot the red flags faster now. This isn't about banning preference. People can want what they want. The issue is entitlement, preferences turned into non-negotiable demands. Reasonable criteria become ultimatums. That's the line between choosing well and demanding the world bend to fantasy. Men translate long lists into a single question. Will this person match my energy? Reciprocity becomes the filter. Ask for sacrifice without offering the same, and it reads as extraction, not love. Want safety from a partner but refuse to be safe in return? That's a one-way street. Men aren't signing up for one-way streets anymore. Imbalance appears in small moments. Financial expectations ignore contribution. Emotional labor is demanded without credit. Social leverage is traded for attention. These show up daily: who plans dates, who covers bills, who apologizes first, who rearranges life for the other. Men mark those moments. They measure intent by behavior, not words. Integrity matters. So does accountability. Men won't tolerate endless bargaining over basic decency. If you can't meet the bar you shout for, your shouting loses weight. Confidence becomes hypocrisy when unearned. Respect must be mutual, not automatic. This correction changes behavior. Men stop subsidizing unfair expectations. They refuse to normalize imbalanced effort. They leave arrangements where giving is punished and taking is praised. They won't bankroll someone else's dream who won't invest in theirs. It doesn't shrink the pool of partners. It rebalances it. Choices sharpen. Boundaries harden. Standards mean something because both people hold them. New rule: equal demand, equal delivery. Anything else ends the conversation. Men want partnership, not transactions. They want shared standards, not decrees from a pedestal. They require accountability alongside attraction. When both people carry the same stakes, relationships hold. When only one wagers, relationships collapse. This isn't revenge. It's realignment. It's clarity about what healthy reciprocity looks like. Men are choosing partners who match expectations with action. That choice rewrites the market. The result is cleaner. Less noise. More honest matches. People stop pretending and start pairing with equals. The future favors those who contribute as much as they demand. Reciprocity wins. Respect returns. That's the new baseline. Period. Public meltdowns have become a career move. People create chaos, record the fallout, and cash in empathy. The pattern is obvious. Do wrong, weep for attention, and collect sympathy while responsibility walks away. When drama is rewarded, accountability becomes optional. That loop trains bad choices. The spectacle of victimhood sells. Followers choose sides before facts. The court of public opinion prefers a performance to a verdict. So the messy person wins applause and the harmed one gets silence. Platforms amplify drama and silence nuance. Context disappears under clips and captions. Confessions replace accountability. Admitting guilt but framing it as growth has become a soft dodge. People say, "I messed up," then recount pain like a highlight reel, never showing repair. An apology without repair is cheap theater. Men notice the missing work behind the words. The playbook is simple. Stir conflict. Post the raw footage. Add a tearful explanation. Wait for support. Never address the damage privately. Never follow through. The crowd covers your exit. It's gaslighting at scale. Make chaos visible, then claim you were wronged. Infidelity is framed as a twist, not a breach. The cheater sobs about being misunderstood. The betrayed partner is labeled controlling. Cameras miss the late-night lies and secret messages. They capture the breakdown after exposure, which becomes the headline. Attention makes poor choices feel strategic. People chase validation from strangers because it gives leverage. Likes become bargaining chips. A viral clip can justify leaving, rewriting, or weaponizing a situation. Men stop treating social applause as truth. Some monetize emotional wreckage and call critics haters. They demand empathy while refusing to take accountability. They convert failure into brand moments. That economy rewards spectacle, not sincerity. Recording culture flips power. Men learn to document because stories can be edited. A video that shows truth protects against rewritten memory. Once proof exists, excuses shrink. This trend corrodes trust. If the public believes staged breakdowns over private records, honesty loses value. Vulnerability becomes risky. Men who once tried to solve problems together now choose caution. Trust retreats into smaller circles. Responsibility fatigue sets in. When wrongdoing is rewarded, effort to be decent seems wasted. Why invest in fixing things when repair is optional? Men preserve dignity elsewhere. The spectacle creates empathy imbalances. Loud narratives drown quieter victims. Compassion becomes performative. The loudest story wins, not the truest. Solutions start with private accountability. Own the damage. Repair where the harm happened. Public growth means nothing without private change. Those who do the hard work earn deeper relationships. Men are tired of being props in someone else's show. They want partners who fix what they break. They want people who choose repair over applause. The age of spectacle ends when responsibility regains value. Reality outlives performance. Men now set clearer boundaries and prioritize documented truth over persuasive narratives. They demand consistent behavior, not viral remorse. That demand forces a choice: stop performing or accept isolation. Consequences reshape who stays and who goes in clarity. Attention is the new currency. One notification can rewrite months of commitment. A single DM, a heart, a comment. Tiny validations that can topple big promises. The chase for public approval rewires priorities. Instant fame outcompetes steady fidelity. When strangers' validation outweighs private loyalty, choices change fast. People start measuring worth by followers, not by character. The pursuit of clout becomes a relationship risk. Men watch partners prioritize virality over vows. They see loyalty traded for a dopamine hit. The mirror that used to reflect a partner's face now reflects an audience. Dates are interrupted to post a story. Intimate moments are queued for content. Marriage becomes a headline opportunity. The feed consumes reality and feeds back a distorted value system. What looks perfect on camera often costs everything off camera. Validation seeking encourages impulsive exits. A flattering reply from someone famous can feel like an invitation to escape. It's not about the person who sent it. It's about the promise of a new script. More glamour, fewer obligations, instant novelty. Men watch engagements end over an exchanged emoji. They watch years discarded for attention that evaporates when the clip stops trending. The prestige pursuit rewards risk-taking. People bet long-term stability for short-term visibility. The gamble seems small until the consequences land. Broken vows, burned trust, reputations torn. Attention doesn't build a foundation. It erects facades that collapse under pressure. Social proof distorts desirability. When strangers cheer, choices seem validated. A crowd's approval makes reckless behavior feel less reckless. Men see partners justify bad decisions because the internet applauded them. That applause becomes permission, and permission becomes pattern. This culture reshapes incentives. Being scandalous gains followers. Being stable gains scrutiny for not being entertaining. The algorithm pushes extremes. Men notice who's rewarded and who's punished. They adjust. They protect what matters instead of performing for an audience that won't show up when things get hard. The idolization of visibility breeds paranoia. People compare private lives to highlight reels. FOMO pushes risky moves. Someone in a relationship thinks, if I could live like that, I'd be happier. So they chase that curated life. Men watch partners trade depth for spectacle, intimacy for image. Consequences are real and long-lasting. Viral moments don't erase custody battles, financial fallout, or emotional scarring. The applause trail goes cold, responsibilities remain. Men who once tolerated instability begin to refuse the chaos that attention-seeking invites. Recovery from public drama is harder than recovery from private mistakes. The internet remembers. Recruiters, family, social circles. All can access the moment a person chose short-term fame over long-term care. Men see opportunities shrink for partners who weaponize visibility. They see doors closed that would have remained open with different choices. So they adapt. They favor partners who value privacy, who protect the relationship from performative temptation. They prize loyalty that's practiced behind closed doors, not showcased for likes. They choose people who measure their worth by contribution, not clout. This isn't about banning social media. It's about priorities. When the feed challenges the vows, men choose vows. When attention threatens stability, men choose stability. The new filter asks one question. Will this action build a life or blow one up for a moment of applause? Choices follow incentives. Change the incentives, change the behavior. Men are choosing partners who invest in the life they promise, not in the followers they hope to attract. The result is quieter relationships, fewer public dramas, and a return to commitment valued for what it actually requires. Excuses became armor. People learned to dress mistakes as narratives that silence interrogation. I was stressed. I've always been like this. It's complicated. Phrases built to halt follow-up and rally sympathy. The goal is simple. Swap responsibility for a story and watch accountability disappear. Men watched the playbook and stopped trading reality for a well-told excuse. Language meant for healing turned into a shield. Therapy terms get thrown around like verdicts. Boundaries are accused of controlling behavior. Honest requests get labeled as hostility. The rhetoric flips the script so the asker looks like the aggressor. That flip damages trust faster than any single argument ever could. Memory became negotiable. Events get retold to fit a new script. What happened 2 years ago is suddenly described in a way that favors the loudest narrative. Private history is edited publicly, and partners find their past rewritten on social feeds. Shared memory used to be the glue of intimacy. When memory can be reshaped, the glue dissolves. So men started to protect the record. Screenshots, timestamps, saved messages, voice notes, practical defenses against revision. People who prefer narrative over proof lose influence when receipts exist. You can't convincingly erase a time-stamped conversation. That small change shifts bargaining power back toward reality. Mental health is real. Trauma is real. Healing is essential. But using illness as automatic exemption from consequences corrodes the possibility of real repair. There's a difference between needing help and weaponizing struggle to avoid responsibility. Men began to demand the latter be accompanied by actual efforts to change, not just performances of remorse. Public displays stopped convincing the people who mattered most. Tearful confessions for an audience can win likes, but they do not fix the damage in private life. Men learn to look for sustained change, not a viral clip. Consistent behavior over months matters more than a trending apology. The math of trust is simple. Actions compound, words evaporate. Social mobs started protecting the wrong things. Allies rushed in to defend whoever told the most compelling story regardless of facts. That crowd defense made accountability rare and costly. It taught that reputation could be weaponized for advantage. Men saw how quickly a public chorus can drown out the truth. That realization changed priorities. Why invest deep emotion in someone who can recast you as the villain with a staged video? Why build a future when your history can be presented as proof against you? Men tightened circles. They chose privacy. They learned to test consistency over charisma. The collateral damage is real. Children watch adults edit facts and learn that honesty is optional. Families split when versions of events diverge and no neutral witness exists. Communities lose faith in basic fairness. Restoring trust there takes longer than any social media moment. Practical boundaries followed. Men insisted on follow-through after apologies. They asked for documented steps toward change. They walked away when promises were empty and stayed when effort was visible. They rewarded repair, not performance. This shift is not cynicism, it's survival. Men aren't denying vulnerability. They're saying vulnerability must be honest, accountable, and followed by repair. The era of excuses as armor is ending. The new currency is consistent action. Words without work lose their market value. Men are buying the truth again, and that's rewriting who stays and who goes. It seems like I can't do more advanced data analysis right now. Please try again later. Heads up, I couldn't run my word count check, so I wrote a punchy, direct expansion of Chapter 6 aimed at 495 words. I couldn't verify the exact count because the tool hit a limit, but I crafted it carefully to match the length and tone you asked for. Here it is. They turned affection into a business plan. Attention, time, and care became line items on a balance sheet. Men started to notice the pattern. Give long enough and someone will treat you like an ATM with good manners. That realization changed how they spend themselves. Systems of extraction popped up and thrived. One person coordinates a rotation of providers. Phone plan here, rent there, emotional labor at midnight. Each contributor thinks they're special. The organizer treats them as interchangeable. The arrangement runs on hope and habit, not commitment or reciprocity. The playbook is blunt. Keep options open. Collect favors. Offer minimal attachment. Frame dependence as freedom. Teach others the technique. Turn relationships into a repeated transaction and call it empowerment. Men watching the blueprint adjust their expectations. Generosity without return is unsustainable. When only one person does the heavy lifting, scheduling, remembering birthdays, smoothing tensions, the imbalance compounds. Those invisible tasks are not small. They stack week by week until resentment becomes the default response. Simp culture amplified this dynamic. Praise and gifts replaced mutual investment. Men learned their place in the routine, quietly supply. Appreciation dwindled while demands inflated. That erosion pushed many to either withdraw or to enforce boundaries they hadn't imagined before. Some people openly brag about freeloading. They boast about having multiple benefactors cover life's costs. They present it as skillful game playing. Men who see this stop assuming kindness will operate on a reciprocating loop. They begin to protect their resources. Availability became taxed. Spontaneous check-ins turned into expectations of constant accessibility. Calls at odd hours, emotional labor on demand, crisis management as entertainment. Men were expected to be perpetually on. Say no once and risk being labeled cold. Say yes enough and you erase yourself. The result is practical, guarded giving. Men limit exposure. They hold back money, time, and emotional energy. They choose to invest where returns are tangible and mutual. Fewer shared leases. Fewer joint accounts. Fewer promises made lightly. That shift reshapes families too. Kids watching these transactions learn that relationships are exchanges to be exploited. The social cost compounds across generations. Patterns of extraction lead to cycles of mistrust that are hard to break. Repair begins with transparency. Call out transactional tactics. Reward equal investment. Normalize shared tasks and shared payments. Teach the next generation that partnership is not a ledger to exploit but a system to maintain together. Men who still want true partnership now seek equals. They want someone who takes initiative and who gives as much as they get. They ask for clear contribution and they walk away from chronic takers. That filter weeds out opportunism fast. This correction isn't about punishing anyone. It's about restoring balance. When giving is mutual, trust grows. When extraction ends, affection returns to its true purpose. Connection, not currency. The market corrects and the people left build something real. This realization changes who men become. They no longer tolerate slow erosion of dignity. Enough small betrayals stack into one decisive moment. Men choose dignity over desperation. They pick clarity over confusion. They stop negotiating peace for someone else's drama. Boundaries harden. Men say what they mean and mean what they say. No vague promises. No patience tested by endless excuses. When respect is absent, they close the door. They don't yell. They withdraw energy. They refuse to subsidize chaos. Choices shift from hoping to selecting. Instead of hoping someone will grow, they look for signs someone already has. They vet for patterns, not promises. Consistent behavior replaces charismatic speeches. They watch how someone treats others, manages money, answers texts. Small metrics reveal long-term intent. Solitude becomes an active choice, not failure. Men discover quiet life has weight. Solitude equals freedom to build, sleep without panic, invest without doubt. Peace becomes more valuable than approval. Where loneliness felt like punishment, it now reads as protection. Men stop rescuing. They stop chasing redemptions. When a partner repeatedly breaks trust, they refuse to be the emergency room for fragile pride. They offer clear terms: earn trust back or move on. Repair must be measurable. Lip service won't do. Selection gets ruthless. He filters out people who perform for cameras, weaponize victimhood, monetize attention. He leans into people who show up when the feed is quiet. He favors partners who work in private and build in public only when it matters. The long game wins. Expectations tighten around reciprocity. Men value shared responsibility over unilateral demands. They reward investment. If someone wants a future, they must contribute to it. If someone prefers a highlight reel, they get a highlight reel life. Short, shallow, solitary. The social circle shrinks. Men invest where returns compound emotionally and practically. They keep fewer people close, but those relationships run deeper. That focus produces stability. It also reveals which connections were transactional all along. Men adopt practical tests. They look for consistent follow-through over months. They ask for documented change. They watch for patterns, not apologies. They measure effort in actions: planning, saving, showing up, protecting privacy. These markers beat rhetoric every time. Career and health climb the list. Men double down on fitness, money management, and mental resilience. They build lives that won't be derailed by drama. Self-care becomes armor and ambition becomes self-respect. They invest in things that outlast trends. Children benefit. Fathers who choose stability model accountability. Sons learn to honor agreements. Daughters learn mutual respect. Families become the antidote to performative chaos. This correction is deliberate. It's not punishment. It's protection. The goal is sustainable partnership, not trophy hunting for attention. Men are making conscious choices because time and peace are finite. The result is cleaner markets for love. Those left are willing to match stakes. The rest fall away. That shrinking is not loss, it's curation. Men who choose this path lose noise and gain lives worth living. And growth. The solution is simple: consequences for choices. Not theatrics. Not viral apologies. Actual accountability. When actions lead to predictable results, behavior shifts quickly. That's the lever that resets relationships. Start small. Stop excusing repeated harm. Require clear repair steps. If trust breaks, ask for measurable restoration, not promises. Demand follow-through. Track it. If it doesn't occur, move on. Consistency enforces change. Teach reciprocity as a skill. Build norms where both people invest in small and big tasks. Share labor and bills. Split responsibilities so effort cannot be one-sided. Equity beats rhetoric. Reward those who match action to words. Elevate partners who show up when private life needs them. Private reliability outvalues flashy gestures. Celebrate the people who keep their word. Create cultural consequences for exploitation. Call out systems that monetize attention and reward extraction. Dismantle advice that teaches using people. Replace it with guidance about mutual benefit. Social incentives drive behavior. Change what's rewarded. Invest in better screening. Vet values before deep commitment. Ask hard questions early. Watch how someone reacts to stress, money, and disappointment. Patterns show under pressure. Tests protect time and heart. Model repair, not excuses. Apologize fully and then fix what was broken. Make amends privately and quietly. Let deeds follow words. Real growth is slow and steady, it's not a clip. Support men who set boundaries. Promote communities where men find equals who honor reciprocity. Connect people who value repair and responsibility. Push back against performative victimhood. Demand evidence of change before forgiveness. Compassion isn't a free pass to repeat harm. Hold people accountable with dignity. Normalize privacy as a virtue. Teach that some things are protected from public consumption. Relationships that thrive do so behind closed doors. Privacy doesn't hide wrongdoing, it preserves intimacy. Rebalance dating incentives. Reward partners who invest in shared futures. Make long-term care desirable. Highlight stories where both sacrificed and built together. Better models shift norms. Educate about long-term costs. Show how short-term fame burns opportunities. Make the fallout of attention-seeking visible. When consequences are clear, choices adjust. Encourage financial prudence. Teach mutual planning and transparent money habits. Safety nets should be built together, not extracted from one party. Finally, demand honesty. If you require fidelity, be faithful. If you ask for transparency, offer it. Reciprocity is contagious. When both people live the same standards, relationships hold. This correction takes time. Habits change slow, but systems respond to consistent incentives. Change the rewards, you change behavior. The future favors partnerships built on respect, responsibility, and reciprocity. Those who adopt them inherit the real prize, trust. Make standards measurable. Agree on clear milestones, shared savings goals, communication routines, conflict rules. Use small contracts if needed. Celebrate milestones publicly but solve problems privately. Teach children to value commitment over clout. Build rituals that strengthen trust. Weekly planning, financial check-ins, honest end-of-week talks. These habits compound. Small daily choices grow into durable unions. Hold each other to those standards and watch partnerships finally reward the work today. If you're ready to rise above the noise, reclaim your power, and understand relationships with absolute clarity, hit that subscribe button and keep leveling up.